Hi everyone, so the Wedgetail, try and get this beast finished. The major hurdle with these two resin parts seems to be over. The central fairing, wing fairing, fuselage fairing was an absolute nightmare. So that's one relief. There's still a few blemishes, but they can be sorted out later on. I spotted also little indentations on the resin parts of the inner wing. Very shallow, but they were there, you catch them in a certain light. The left wing's done, the right wing's still a bit more to do. Also, one thing I also spotted was the panel lines on the inner wing aren't as good as the panel lines of the outer wings. I don't know what I'm going to do about that yet. Also mating up these, I mean these weren't going to fit, you know what I mean, I'd have been gobsmacked if they just fit perfectly. So these are going to want a bit of fettling as well. There's a ridge at the top there, so I may reduce the lug so I've got a bit of play in it, and then decide what I'm going to do with the panel line on the inner wing. Well, that's for later on. What I want to talk about today is, in this video, is the rear rudder and the rear tail planes, mainly locating and positioning them. I needed a centre line first, so a bit of string from the resin lug there to the fuselage windscreen, taped it down so it's nice and taut, and then 3 marks, took it off, joined the marks up. That gave me my centre line down the fuselage for the rudder. I also needed to find the end of the rudder as well. I had to look at a lot of references before I got that, and it's roughly there. So from that, I can add the rudder to those 2 points, the centre line and where it would end. Once I got that, I drew around the bottom shape of the resin part. The reason for that is it gives me an idea of what space I got to play with. From that, I just did a couple of crosshairs, roughly equal, 2 holes, 1.5mm aluminium rod I'm going to be using. I transferred those marks to the rudder and drilled 1.5mm holes as well. So the aluminium rod will fit in like that. I will probably cut it a certain length, either end, and that should give me some stability when fixing that part to the fuselage. Now I'm not going to stick the aluminium rod in yet because I want to make sure that these 2 mating surfaces are flush and fit snug as a bug in a rug. So once I'm happy with that, I know I've eliminated as many errors as possible, then I will bond the aluminium rod to the resin part. And there we are. And the same principle for the rear tail planes. I was lucky to a certain point that on the resin part there's actual a height and an angle, a line angle on either side on how the tail plane sits, but it only goes so far. It only went up to here. So using some Dymo tape, I followed that line further down the fuselage, drew a line in pen either side, took that off, and the next thing I had to do, I had to make sure that those lines were symmetrical either side. A little trick: 2 strips of paper, put them on any mark you want. I chose first or second hole and the end of the rudder. Put a bit of paper on there. Mark off the centre line, as you can see there. Wrap round till I met that dihedral line on the tail. Marked it off on the paper, and the same on the other side, and then marked it off on the paper. Then when you take it off, if it's symmetrical and you fold it at the centre line there, if it's symmetrical, those two lines should meet. And they did. And you need to do that twice. Pick another point. I picked the end of the rudder, wrapped around the bit of paper, marked off on paper where the line was on the fuselage, same on the other side, took it off, fold on the centre line. If those two lines meet, we're all happy. Now that's not 100% accurate, there's a discrepancy there of a mil. Hopefully not 2 mil, but a mil, I can live with that. It's just a quick fix. I'm not going to get into a lot of engineering for what the kit's worth. So once I've got those and I was happy with those lines, as I did with the rudder, I picked 2 little marks where I'm going to put little holes in, and then transfer those marks to the rudder. First thing you do with the resin bits is get your centre line. That's a given then. Now once I've got all those references cross-matched, I drilled holes, and the same principle for the rudder. The lugs will go into the resin parts, not the vac form pit. Now the rudder, I may, once I'm happy with the mating surfaces, I may stick to the fuselage. I may well do that, I don't know yet. But the rear tailplanes, once I'm happy and I've got the lugs on, they will be left off and painted separately when I paint the fuselage. The reason for that is, it's easy to paint a subject with sorts, angles and angles like that. I've just got one plane to worry about. If I have that in the way, it's not impossible, but wouldn't it be easier if that wasn't there? And because the way this is put together, we can do that. We can paint that one part as a separate item and paint that as a separate item. And once we're happy with the paint job and it's all deckled up, then we can stick it in there and it'll just sit in snugly. So that's what I'll do. That's the way I'll go about it. So there's those to do. The next issue that needed resolving, head scratching, were these terrible resin fan blades that weren't touching the inner surface of the cowl. They were quite poor. So my idea was to create a template using a bit of paper, mark it off where the paper ended on either end, wouldn't stick out that much, pull it out, place it on a piece of plastic card, cut it out and create a new inner sleeve. This sounded good until I saw the paper sleeve in there and I realised that the fan blade was off centre. Don't know why, don't know why it's supposed to be like that, I wouldn't have thought so, but it was off centre to the count, so that went out the window. It's not noticeable on this until I put it in a sleeve in, and it really brought it home. So my other idea was a quick fix as usual. This stuff, plastic putty. I saw a guy on YouTube use this. He was doing a V2, can't remember his name, and he had some gaps in the fins. He pulled this stuff out, filled it in, cotton wool bud, wiped it away, voila. Amazing. There are only small gaps, this does have its limitations, but it was great. No sanding, no losing detail, and this was some years ago now, and I thought, right, I've got to have me some of that. So I thought of using that. Going there, filling in that trench, going round, not too much. The more you put in, the more you have to take out. So just do it gradually. Let it settle for a few minutes, wetted cotton wool bud, and then just wipe around the edge. getting rid of the excess off. I think it works a treat. I've taken some still photographs, so hopefully you'll get a better picture than I'm showing here. So that's what I'm going to do with these. So that's another problem solved. Hi, so as promised, back on the Wedgetail model. A slightly different format than usual. Gone into a bit more detail with the video than previous ones, so if you like that, then let me know. I'll take on any comments. Excuse the abrupt ending on the engine nacelles, just the way it worked out. I keep these videos short for the simple reason it's the amount of effort and time in putting them together and rendering. This takes a time. Some of them can take a couple of hours, 2.5 hours, some of them. So that's why I keep them within 10-15 minutes. So hopefully you like the setup. As I said before, let me know if you don't. This is part 5, and hopefully we'll see you for part 6. And thank you for watching.